Hey, I figured I would introduce myself so that you all can know why you're here and what this channel is going to be about. So, about me, I'm Shante. I'm neurodivergent, specifically ADHD. I have a teenage daughter with ADHD, and I have a 7-year-old son with autism spectrum disorder. So we are a fully neuro-spicy household. It's very interesting. But I wanted to start this journey. I definitely was inspired by, Autism Awareness or Acceptance Month. However, I had been thinking about this for a long time. Give you guys the real, the authentic, and not just necessarily all the cookie cutter, pretty kind of things where people are like, oh, talking about the puzzle pieces and oh, they're so cute and blah, 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 blah. Because this journey can be really difficult. It can be really lonely. It is stressful, right? Like there's research that talks about how a mom who's parenting a child with autism experiences like this level of stress of like similar to a combat veteran, right? And I think like when people hear that, it sounds statistic or some type of like cliche, but I'm like, are you really, really knowing what they mean as far as like the level of stress and the level of anxiety and stuff that we go through? But as far as, what you're going to be seeing, my life is not perfect at all. We're rebuilding, been through many changes, stuff that was supposed to break me and still here, resilient. Hopefully I won't keep getting into situations that are meant to break me. I get that life is always going to have its challenges though, but part of my growing phase and healing phase and stuff will also just be like not dating right now. But if I were, gotta be careful, right? Like, because yeah, they haven't been too kind. I definitely want to be decentering men from my life, hopefully one day find the right one. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But anywho, some days are really hard for me. I deal with chronic illness, specifically Hashimoto's thyroiditis, an autoimmune condition, and I can talk about it more, at another time. But it leaves me dealing with chronic fatigue, amongst a bunch of other symptoms, but the fatigue is killer. It's debilitating, and brain fog and all that stuff. And then don't add that to like the ADHD and or any type of like anxiety symptoms, depressive symptoms, and on top of that, again, being a single mom, navigating life with a teenage drama queen who has ADHD and a rambunctious 7-year-old with autism who has a lot of needs. I enjoy being a parent, but I definitely have been through a lot of like challenges, so I don't want to like sugarcoat anything like that. It gets really difficult. Maybe this might help for people who don't have kids yet, right? Because think about all the things that you don't think about before you have children, right? Like I don't think many of us go into this wondering about whether we'll end up being a single parent or whether our child would end up having like special needs. Like I don't think I even thought about it, I was just thinking about that they'll be healthy and safe, like as far as like surviving the delivery process, but it never crossed my mind. And so, these are some things that people should be prepared for, right? And the fact that you could be prepared to be a single mom, if you're a woman, putting yourself into this position of taking on parenthood, because marriage doesn't even guarantee people staying around, right? And like that's a big deal, because I think a lot of times as women, we usually, sorry if you see my eye twitching, I don't know what's going on lately. They say it could be stress or lack of sleep, all the stuff that I go through, or too much caffeine, which I haven't been having too much of lately. However, as an ADHD girly, I want to thank my friends who recommended this Bigelow peak energy tea. So I'm trying that out for the first time, so I'll be able to let you know how it goes. Again, my content might be for any kind of parents, right? Especially parents of special needs children. I might be giving some like tips or, you know, and not claiming to be any kind of expert, like things that we do. But maybe just as much as people can learn from me, I can also learn from you guys. Yeah, definitely trying to build community because this journey can be lonely, right? And we are in a place where we are not surrounded by our family on like a daily basis or something. You know, it's a seasonal type of thing or annual type of thing. You'll get a little bit of, again, everything that we're going through. Hopefully this can remind people that, hey, like, you're not alone, right? Another thing that's really like important to me though, besides just like being an autism mom, is the whole ADHD thing, right? Because ADHD is so funny. We try to make it like so funny on these videos and all these memes, right? Like, but it can be quite debilitating sometimes. Yeah, when you have ADHD and then your teenager has ADHD, recipe for disaster sometimes. And you know, because we're both struggling with like executive dysfunction and time blindness and whatnot, and we're both two, you know, a woman and a young lady living in a household, and we both want to have the last word, and we both want to be right, and it's a lot. Frustrating as that part of my life can be, you know, I also try to have some empathy, you know, as far as my daughter goes through, because I get it, you know, everybody's not going to understand unless it's like, you're one of us. Then you might get it. So I am that girl that, I didn't have ADHD as a, well, hold on, pause. I wasn't aware of any ADHD or diagnosed with any ADHD as a kid. But like many of us, I was that child that got that she talks too much. She won't sit still in class. She won't stay quiet. So maybe I was, but I mean, I was always able to still get my stuff done. I was always a decent student still. Didn't really notice it until college that I was struggling. And more specifically, the part of college where I was struggling after grief and losing someone. So I think like it kind of like just exacerbated my symptoms tremendously. I work remotely from home. Of course, I would love to be able to get to a point where like this YouTube thing can be monetized, right? Like I think I would be lying, and it'd be clear that I'm lying if people are like, oh, I don't even do this for the money. So yeah, that's you know, long-term goal. Because again, navigating life as a single parent, especially of a child with autism or any type of special needs, you deal with all kind of like unforeseen like circumstances. Oh, the child is sick, and you know, can you come get them at the last minute? And then you got to ask your boss, can you leave? And do they care? Do they have an attitude, right? Like that's just a lot. A lot. And then in the schools, they just bring home so many germs, and then you know, my son gets sick often. Other topics that we'll eventually be talking about, right? Because I don't know if a lot of people like pay attention to that or connect all those dots, right? Like how the immune system is of our kiddos that are on the spectrum. And even like the fact that me and my autoimmune disorder, read something about the correlation between pregnant moms with autoimmunity and babies being, you know, eventually being diagnosed with autism. So would have never learned that from a doctor. I am interested in like functional medicine. We go to regular providers still, but I'm definitely also just like interested in learning as much as I can, you know, about like holistic type of ways to do things as well. And honestly, it's just like I learned a lot, you know, about my own illness and, you know, about ADHD and autism and stuff from online. Like So kudos to all you creators, your content creators, and medical providers who put information on the internet, because I am truly, truly, truly grateful. I would like to share some of that knowledge, like from some of the research that I do, and so we might talk about supplements, all kind of different things. Not giving any medical advice, we're gonna definitely make sure that disclaimer is out there. You follow up with your own providers, see what they recommend. And also I just encourage you to do your own research, right? Because again, a lot of the stuff that I found out, whether it's related to our diet, like what we should or shouldn't eat, like or what supplements are helpful for us, all internet based. So yeah, even stuff about women, even things about like our hormones and whatnot. It's like, how many times have I went to like a primary care doctor or a gynecologist? It's like the most they ever talked about is birth control. Never any like checking of my hormones or anything like that. So yeah, so again, I wouldn't mind sharing any information I have, and also, like I said, being able to learn from you all, grow community, hopefully be able to do this full time. If you do watch any of my videos, you will have to bear with me because I am, learning how to do like the editing and stuff. So I'm not claiming that I'm like some computer expert or, a guru or anything like that. I just want to build real connection with real people, and give you like my genuine truth. And again, especially as far as like being ADHD or and the autism community, right? And not sugarcoating everything or making everything a joke, because a lot of it is not funny when you're in it, right? It's not funny when I walk into the kitchen and I'm like, why did I even come in here? I don't know. Pacing around in circles, trying to figure it out. So, or hey, look, like I said, my tea, right? I had to just find that this morning. Where was it? In the RV. That brings me